I love the lungs. They're my favorite organ. I can't get enough of the lungs. The lungs are the organ for me. Let me tell you about how much I love lungs. A lot. We breathe 20,000 times a day. Have you ever listened to yourself breathe? If you listen to yourself breathe, we breathe around an average of 16 to 20 times a minute. Our lungs are the size of a tennis court. If you take the fabric that makes our lungs and we're able to spread it out, it would take that type of a surface area. That's the type of organ that we have. We have something that is huge. It's a huge organ in the body, and its goal is multifaceted. People think that the lung is just there to help you breathe, but the lung does many, many other things inside the body. It's a repository for white blood cells. Your lung is one of the major sites for fighting infection in the rest of your body. Your lymphocytes and the other parts of your body hold a small amount of blood cells. Your bone marrow creates those white blood cells. That's why we have, leukemia and problems with cancer in terms of bone marrow. But really, where white blood cells tend to habitually congregate is inside the lung. Also, what lungs do is they help moderate your body temperature. You breathe in cold air, you breathe out warm air. You breathe in warm air, you breathe out colder air. You sweat, certainly to moderate your body temperature, but the lungs are doing a major portion of that. Your lungs also moderate how hydrated you are. When it's dry out, you breathe in dry air, but you moisten that air before you breathe it out again. The interface that the lungs have inside the body system is a strange system, because your lungs are both a bellow, they move air in and out, and at the same time they harvest oxygen from the air through the alveolar sacs, through the little sacs at the end of the lung. So your lungs are made of a multiple of different sort of pieces inside your lungs. But there's the air sac and there's the tubes. And these tubes are tiny. Look at a piece of hair. Your hair is, the thinness of your hair is not even the diameter of the thin part of the air tubes that go inside the lung. Well, imagine your tube splitting into two tubes all the way through from one windpipe into two lung cavities. And one lung cavity has two lobes in it because it's got to make room for the heart on this side, and the other lung cavity has three lobes on it. And those tubes carry on splitting. They split another 27 times, all the way down to that thinnest filament, which is a tube, still a tube, different type of physiology than the air sac. The air sac is where the oxygen exchange happens. Everything else is getting the air into the air sac. Now your lungs are also encapsulated in a big bag. And this bag, this lining of your lungs is an incredibly important part of your lungs too, because as your lungs exhale and inhale and exhale, those air sacs manage the type of pressure that keep the air inside your lungs. What you breathe is at a different pressure than what is out here in the regular air. So it's like being a deep sea diver and climbing the mountain to the top of Mount Rainier all at the same time, right here inside your little body. And meanwhile, as I've said, all those white blood cells, all those other sorts of things are going on to maintain and keep your body going. And lungs are doing one final thing. The reason that they have white blood cells there, and the reason why they have so many blood cells is why? Because they're basically an open wound, right? It's basically open. It's like, hey, everybody, all infection, all diseases, you come through here, right through here, please. Hello. That's your most major area of site of vulnerability to bacteria, to viruses, airborne viruses, to particulate pollution, to chemical sprays. It all comes through here. I'm spraying something, my skin is burning, ow, it really hurts. We don't have nerves inside our lungs. We can't see the type of damage that goes on inside our lungs. So that's what really is important about our lungs. Our lungs do all of this work. And guess who gets hurt the worst? Guess who's most vulnerable? It's the ones that have that same huge surface area, but a smaller body mass. Think about children. Children are about 4 or 5 times more at risk for the air they breathe, because they're still breathing tons. They actually breathe faster than adults. They get more chemicals. The degree of exposure and the degree of risk from being exposed to even a minute amount of chemical inside a child is thus much greater. So that's my little piece on the lungs.